Hey guys, thanks for joining me for another Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia video. Today we're going to do a character guide on Jihl Nabaat, who is a very brand new character that just came to DFFOO for the first time. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at her. So if you're not familiar with Jihl, she is, I would call her a support character, but also can be a very offensive character. She has pretty strong follow-ups. I would say you have to have her BT to like use her as a DPS, but I think without the BT, she's going to be fine as a support character, but we're going to see what her numbers look like. But I think she's going to be a nice little solid support, and I am going to use her without the BT. So we're going to see what she looks like without the BT and see if we're liking her. She is a white crystal character. I've put no crystal room in that, so it's going to be a non-crystal room Jihl. Is what we're going to look at here. So we're going to go ahead and look at her calls, her artifacts, and her spheres. Her calls I really like, actually. I think her calls are quite stellar. Her 15 is just a heal, but healing is very good on calls. We've talked about this. You might be running a team comp without a healer, or you might be in a situation where a boss pokes you at the end and you're under the HP requirement. It's a great way to heal yourself back up in a pinch. So having heal is very good. And then her LD is actually pretty loaded. I do like what's on the LD. So the LD, the first big thing is it fills the caller's EX gauge to full, which is very, very good. And this is what Shulk's does, and I don't talk about Shulk enough, but her call's actually been very good for getting that max EX gauge right away. So like, for example, I think a character like Vice, who like wants to use the EX fairly early, like this is a way that you could get that up very quickly, right? There's some characters where you want to upkeep a buff with an EX, or some characters have like a very slow going EX to start, and then you want to get into it right away. This is a great way to have that. Which is very good. You could do something like this too with like Iris, if you want to get Iris's EX up to copy somebody, and maybe you want to do it without using your LD to like waste a turn and like turn manipulate. This could be really good on a character like Iris as well. So yeah, a lot of fun things we can do with that. But then on top of the EX filling, it's got a lot of party stats on it. So it's got attack, brave, HP damage up, overflow up, brave regen. Like this is just a really nice call. So I'm gonna have to keep her in mind because I do think this is a call I will want to use. It sounds very good to me. And actually like her like jumping in with tickets, because like her call's gonna be very good. With her LD, but her EX sphere, like her sphere is very good. It's a C slot attack and max brave 10% up. So getting her EX for the sphere is also very, very good, right? All right, so let's go ahead. Let's look at her artifacts and her spheres here. So artifacts, I'm very raw. I haven't really had time to farm yet. I did one run and just bought what I could. But you want attack 108, and then you want her C50 passive, which is, what is her C50 called against? Ruthless Soldier Up. I don't have one to show you, right? I didn't get lucky. So you want Ruthless Soldier Up and Attack 108 is what you want there. I did get an Attack 108, but I don't have a Ruthless Soldier, so eventually I'll get those, right? And then on spheres, it's pretty typical like offensive stuff with her, because while she is a support character, she does deal a lot of damage with follow-ups. And a lot of her support, like her battery and healing, it scales off the HP damage she does. So you do want to go like attack, brave damage, max brave, like that type of stuff, right? So I just had some extra stuff, so I threw like a Vice on. Just gives attack at the start. Vice is a very good sphere, by the way. Jack, I think, is a good one because you're getting brave damage and attack. She is a physical damage dealer, so you could do like physical or melee attack up ones. Those would work as well. C slot, I actually really like her own. It's a max brave and attack up, especially if you're going to use her as a damage dealer. Hers is really good, and like Garnet is pretty good on her too, if you want to focus on her as like the damage dealer. Otherwise, if you want to do more of a support, then you'd want to go like Maria, Alphanod, Lude, because those are going to be like the party attack ups, and she heals, so she can trigger all those. So there's actually a lot of good options for C that you could put in there. I just threw hers on her because it is a very good one, and I got one from her, so I figured why not, right? So with that, let's hop into the showcase. Let's see how she's doing. We're going to hop into the Astos fight. We're just going to double support her with Aerith and Rosa. Once again, this is a non-BT version. I'm going to check my friends list. I asked if anybody happened to get her with BT to put her up so I could show it, but I doubt that's happened yet. Yeah, it's early, right? So sure, we'll just take a selfie. That's fine. Let's go ahead and hop in. Let's hop in and see what we can do here. And I think this is a character that's going to start with a lot of things at the beginning, so we can just kind of show off attacks. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show call reinforcement. So her overhead what you want to think about it is she basically has like a pet behemoth is what she has. And when that overhead is up, that you can see it's like a little picture of a behemoth. So when she has that overhead, anytime she does an action or attack, that behemoth is going to come out and swing. So that's like her follow-up. And it's after she acts, not the party, just herself. Okay? So if you want to upkeep that, the 35 is one way you can do it, the 35 and LD. So what I'm going to do is we're going to do Calm Reinforcements. This is instant turn rate, and it is a force charging move, and it summons the behemoth. So if you lose it, and then she does get the follow-up, so she doesn't have to attack, it's just an action, right? So that's how you upkeep the overhead. It does do a battery, and it does scale on her max brave, and that's all it is. It's just instant turn, force charge, kind of go crazy, right? Then we'll do Draining Slash. This is her main healing attack. Okay, and 500k. But once again, you have the follow-up with it, right? So 500k plus 580, she actually hit over a mil on that, which to me is suitable damage. So on a character like this, you have to count the follow-up as a part of the damage, right? Aerith will just set up, and that was like without BT buffs, right? And remember, she also doesn't have the BT, but she does have an Ultima weapon on. I would say for me, if Jill's hitting like the 1 mil plus like the kind of standard damage, I think she's perfectly fine because you're getting battery, you're getting healing, you're getting force charging. If you want to use her as a support character, right? She is going to be superior with the BT. We'll talk about that in a little bit for offense. But I think just as like a nice suitable support character, I think she is going to be fine. But we'll keep looking at the numbers as we get through. Let's go ahead and Healing Wind here. Okay, we'll do a couple heals. We'll do a little bit of ramping, but we know in this fight they're going to beat me to it. I'm not like in a rush to get to it either. Actually, what we'll do is let's just snag the selfie quick. We'll just take the free ramps here as well. But I do want to kind of see a couple more Jill attacks before I go into force. And then we're going to see how good... Well, okay. So one thing is I focused on like supporting her for this. But this team isn't going to work well for her FR because you want melee damage. But we'll still use her FR anyways. Just know we won't be playing optimal FR here. So like putting her with characters like Vice and Oron is a lot better. Because they're if you're going to use her FR. But you don't have to lead with her FR. But for the showcase, we always like to do that, right? Ooh, we're actually staying ahead of them. I mean, I might be tempted to use FR because they get, like, when they go into force, they do the stupid thing where my buffs only last one turn. I hate that. Let's seal them down. Actually, we might do that. We might just go into force right away. I don't know. I kind of want to stay ahead of these guys. It maybe won't be that bad. Actually, Jill's a couple turns away, so I think they're going to get there either way, which is fine. Oh, we need BT effect, though. Let's get BT effect up. Perfect. We'll have Aerith pass turn, and then if they're not to theirs yet, I might consider using it. Otherwise, we'll just kind of go. Should be fine here. Oh, you know what, though? Shoot, they're going to do the gravity stuff to me, huh? I might need to get Raijin on. Ooh, they're just barely there. What do I have on for calls? All right, let's throw Raijin on really quick. I mean, it's fine. We might still take damage and lose like the BT effect on Aerith, but that's fine. Oh, wait, it's going to trigger with Raijin out, so Raijin's going to take it, so Aerith won't lose the BT. That was nice. Yeah, so we still get Aerith's BT. Sweet. That actually worked out really nice. I'll have to remember that trick. Sure. All right, now we're good. We're full healed. We're good. I guess I could have showed off Jill's healing, but she's going to be doing it anyways. We already did Seal Evil. Sure, let's just Fury Brand here, and then we'll get to Jill's turn. So let's talk about Draining Slash. I didn't even go through it yet. So it does do an HP attack, and it does do splash damage, which does tell me her FR will work with splash, because they're going to make it work with all of her attacks, right? It batteries the party scaled on the HP damage she does, and then it heals 60% of the HP damage, and she only heals herself. But if she's at full health, it'll give the access healing to the party. So she does, provided her health is high, she will AoE heal the party, which is good, right? So we did all that. So next, let's do the LD, I suppose. Yeah, let's go ahead and do the LD. Full scale assault orders. Now this will also refresh the overhead, so this is another way to get it back. Now, we haven't lost it yet. There is a specific attack that'll lose it, and that's the EX. All right, so let's talk about... The LD is also instant turn rate, which is really nice. So she's got 2 instant turn rates. So this does that big attack you saw there. It batteries the party scaled on the HP damage she does. She does get a skill use back of skill 1 and skill 2, which is good. And that this does fully refill her EX gauge. She is also going to get a buff called Offensive Maneuvers, and it's going to refresh the overhead. Offensive Maneuvers is Brave Stolen up, HP damage up for herself. For the party, attack up, Brave damage up, HP damage up, Overflow up, and Brave regen up, which is very good. So she's got a bunch of stuff going on there. So now let's do the EX. Now, what's going to happen on the EX... Sacrifice pawn, and it's got the name so you understand it. She is actually going to sacrifice her behemoth and give it up, right? So we're going to get that behemoth sacrificed out, but it's going to do a lot of good things because of that. So what it is if you don't have behemoth up, you don't have the plus version, but you probably want to do the plus version. So let's hit it. Sacrifice the behemoth. Wow. And then just like shoved it into him with 1.5, like 1.6 mil. That's solid EX damage. I will take that. And you notice that they got dazed. So this is like a paralyzed with a unique name that basically ate up their turn. So what happens is without the behemoth, it's just a pretty generic weak hitting. It's an attack that does 5 HP dumps and like nothing else. But if you have the plus version, it does 7 HP dumps. It heals HP back and then does access to the party. It removes her behemoth because she sacrificed it, right? But it does put a daze down on the enemy, so that 1 turn daze is very, very good. So on our next turn, we want to get behemoth back. So let's go ahead and... So now that I've talked about that, I can talk about the BT, because you kind of need to know that to understand why the BT is so good. Here, let's aim. We don't aim very much. So since I don't have the BT, let's talk about that right now. So the BT, big BT attack, it's probably going to do typical BT damage, but it's going to be an 8-turn burst effect. You're going to get normal BT buffs, so it's Brave damage up, Brave damage limit, HP damage, and HP damage limit. But the unique thing it gets, which is really, really cool, is 1, her Behemoth follow-ups trigger twice, which is Big Daddy damage, right? Then, if she uses... So what happens is if her Behemoth is gone... If you lose it, she immediately, like, instantly uses her skill 2. She uses her skill 2 and refreshes it, like, instantly, and it doesn't count as a separate turn. So what happens is her skill 2 is like a force charging move. So let's say I use the EX with her BT effect up, right? The EX would go, her Behemoth falls off, and then what happens is because she has her BT effect up, she just immediately auto uses the skill 2 for free. And then you get a 30% bump in the HP gauge because that's just what it gets for being a force charging attack. So basically, her BT is really busted because it makes it so you always have Behemoth. If you do the EX to lose Behemoth, you get an extra 30% and you get Behemoth back. And she's always doing double follow-ups. So that's why her BT is important to being offensive. But I think as a support character, I like what I'm seeing from her. I think she's actually doing just fine. Let's go ahead and Seal Evil, and we're going to do our Force next. Like I said, it's not going to be as good with this team comp because you want melee damage, but we'll just use it anyways. Just so we can see the animations and everything. Black Hole. Oh, this is going to be Gravity, huh? Oh, we're good. All right, so Rosa. Sure, let's just do that. All right, now let's do Jill's FR. Actually, before we do the FR, because you pretty much want your Behemoth up, right? So this is where you call reinforcements, free instant turn. We just get our Behemoth back and we're good. You could do it the LD too, whichever one you want to do. And then we get a little slap action there. The cool thing with Jill too is you can force charge with her while doing damage. Also, like during FR, you could keep popping that to ramp, which we might actually try that a little bit and see how well it ramps. That's not a bad idea. So let's do the FR. This is Request for Turks Cooperation. So, of course, she's bringing in Reno. And they both have glowy sticks. That's exactly why they're partners. They both, look at that. They got like the same glowy stick. Jill just has a longer glowy stick. Look at that. They got matching glow sticks. It's pretty cool. All right, so let's talk about, of course, we're going to slap up here. Now, see, she doesn't tick off turn. I wish she ticked off turn. That would make it a lot better for Behemoth ticked it, but it doesn't. When she refreshes with Call Reinforcements off turn with the BT, it does work, but it doesn't work for this, right? So the FR, AoE attack or AoE Brave damage with split HP. It does daze all the enemies, so they do have that 1 turn daze, so they're going to get shocked for a turn. And then her HP conditions are really easy. Melee damage 40%, AoE HP damage 40%. And AoE doesn't mean it has to be like a full AoE attack. If it does split HP damage, like if it's single target, but it splits HP damage, then it still counts. So with the right team comp, it's a very free and easy 80%. And 80% is very good. Normally you get 70 or 75 for something like that, but getting 80 for anybody is pretty good, right? So sure, we'll have Aerith double echo. Now, this is going to be the bare minimum 80, because we're not attacking, you have to attack for hers. So these will be 83%, I'm predicting. Let's see. Yep, 83. I've played this game a few times. I'm starting to memorize the numbers I'm going to get here. So yeah, 83%. We're going to get that again. Buff it up. And then what I might do with Jihl is I might just do a little bit of spam and see what happens. We could do some Behemoth spam, right? And then sure, let's just Seal Evil. Alright, and then the enemies here should be dazed. They won't be able to do anything. And they should just daze out here. Yep. And then Rosa will attack, and actually, we'll echo. All right, so let's experiment with a few things here. Let's see what kind of damage we can put out here. So we might, let's see, so like, let's say we want to try to do like a self ramp, right? Well, actually, let's see. Reigns is melee, but I don't think he doesn't have any splash on those, so those wouldn't get the full. So we do have Sacrifice Pawn up, but I don't want to use it yet. So let's just say I do Call Reinforcements, right? So let's hit this. Okay, and that's the 30%. So what happens with the BT is you just get that extra because the BT makes her do that, right? So you could spam that. 30% isn't much, right? But the LD does actually do an attack, right? So let's press the LD, and this is instant turn rate. So you could do like a little bit of mini spam, but this should be like 80-something%. Yeah, 83. Yeah, I wish the off turn there ticked it too. That would be ridiculous. What if it was 40% ticks off turn? That would be crazy. All right, so now let's sacrifice the pawn, I suppose. Let's sacrifice it. See how much damage we get. 500%. This should be a pretty good gauge. All right, 7 mil is solid. I could see her hitting like 20 mil plus at full gauge. Once again, though, like, that's, you know, and that's like not counting follow-ups, right? So normally you do big damage, get double follow-ups. Like, she's going to be putting up really nice numbers with the BT. What I might do, you guys, is later on in the week, once again, schedule's crazy, don't know if I'll have time, but if I can get a hold of a friend, Jill, we might just do like a quick little mini showcase of the BT. I would like to see her damage. I think it's going to be very good, though. Sure, let's just Seal Evil again. Okay, but we still get 40%, right? We got credit for the AoE damage, so we'll take that. We'll take the 40%. So yeah, look, FR, I think this is AoE damage. It won't be melee. But yeah, it is a nice FR for sure. So it kind of depends on like your roster and what you're using. But Jill, I mean, if you really focus on her, build her up all the way, team build around her a little bit, like she can be like a really nice staple support / DPS for you for sure. So she can be a nice pickup for like a newer player that needs that. All right. So we got to... well, since we're in FR time, we'll bring our guy back with the LD. Nice. So 6.4 mil, but then the follow-up, right? So 6.4 with 5.6. So that's basically, yeah, those basically 12 mil AoE, which is solid, right? 12 mil AoE is solid. And actually, we can just add on to that, right? So had there been the second follow-up, probably would have been like another 6 mil. So then we're looking at like 18 mil AoE. So we can kind of predict the numbers here, right? All right, so we did 15, and that's only to one target. 15 plus what was that? 3 plus another 3. So that would have been like 22 mil, 21 mil AoE. It's pretty good damage if we had the BT, right? We'll definitely take it. Sure, let's Fury Brand. We'll just go through the rest of the force time and just kind of see where we're at. I actually don't know if we'll finish the fight, but this was pretty non-optimized, right? Just kind of showing off the character. We'll see what happens, though. Sure, we haven't done the EX for Rosa yet. Rosa can do some bow stuff. And then the big Holy Blade follow-up. Nice. But yeah, I feel like her damage is kind of on par, if not better, than like Rosa, right? So like, once again, thinking of her as a support, you don't need a ton of damage, and she's still doing the support things you want. We're at 972, so let's finish with a bang here. So what I think I'm going to do is we're going to do the LD for free instant turn, and then we're going to sacrifice Pawn to end it. We're going to sacrifice the Behemoth and see what happens here. All right, 7 mil on the check. So basically that 7 mil would turn into like a 14 to 15 mil if we had the BT, right? And not to mention the BT auras would add more damage onto that. So yeah, now what we're going to do, and we'll hit this, we'll get the Brother Summon damage. We'll try to eke out a close win here with the FR being very non-optimized. I don't think we'll get it, but we're going to be pretty close, and let's sacrifice the Pawn. So at full gauge, what do we got on sacrifice Pawn for damage? Oh, with a little launch too, actually. That might help us push. Pretty dang close here. So we got 19 mil with 11 mil on the side. Not too bad. So anyways, guys, there you go. There's Jill. Almost killed the fight in her FR. So let me know what you think of her. But I think she is a suitable, definitely a passable support character without BT. But if you want her to be really nutty, get that BT, because she's going to help. The FR ramping is actually like the really big thing about it, that you just get those extra 30%. It's actually kind of nutty. So let me know what you think of her. Thanks for watching. We'll catch y'all on the next one.